What are signs that someone is secretly unhappy?
Not answering emails and texts is a warning sign for me. I start procrastinating about personal correspondence when I'm on my way into a bad depressive episode. And, well, sometimes even when I'm just at baseline, but baseline with clinical depression is pretty unhappy. I think a lot of the time people who are secretly unhappy do their best to make the people they care about laugh and feel happy. As they know what it's like to feel so down and unhappy with the world, they don't wish for the people they care about to feel that way.
1. Not finding pleasure in activities they used to enjoy. 2. Persistent low mood. 3. Problems sleeping.
They smile at you, because they want to be nice, friendly, but as soon as you look away, the smile falls off their face. Because they kind of put it there, rather than it rising up naturally. Once its job is done, they let it go. Edit. Since this blew up, I'm going to take the opportunity to say, therapy. Therapy can make a big difference, even for the most seemingly intractable problems. If your life is unhappy, if you relate to the posts in this thread, I advise you to seek a therapist's help.
Tired. If they aren't sleeping well, oftentimes something is keeping them up. Also, tiredness is a commonly used excuse to answer, "Are you okay?"
They don't put any effort into life.
General apathetic approach to life mostly can be perfectly described as feeling meh.
Even if this person looks very happy, you can easily put them down, make them sad or cry. They become very upset when someone is even a little bit true to them. They can be very loud and happy at one moment and quiet at another. It's my own experience. I don't know how it works with other people.
They have nothing to talk about or don't give any opinions. It's a sign that nothing excites or interests them.
As someone who is currently very unhappy, they want to have alone time way more than they usually do. Withdrawal from social life. Overthinking, anxiety over small decisions. Procrastination. Not wanting to put effort into relationships. Edit. I am going to try and respond to as many of these replies as I can. You are not alone.
When they ask you what you're doing all the time and are a little pushy because they just want to talk to someone but never say it straightforward that they aren't happy and that they need some company.
They stop engaging in hobbies and activities they used to love.
It took me a very long time to realize that anger is one of my first responses to depression. I feel like we imagine those gray blobs from the commercials that are listless and distracted and sad, but for me, unchecked depression expresses as anger. I can't believe the stupidity around me. I give no one the benefit of the doubt. I assume everything is a slight and preemptively expect slights. As you can imagine, it's utterly exhausting and terrible to be around. Then I lost enough friends, realized I needed to change, got therapy out of my own choice for the first time, forced into it as a kid many times, changed my responses to things, got on medication, and now it takes a lot to get me angry. A lot.
Hiding in their clothes, hoodies and jackets, hats pulled down, not participating in conversation much. Not having interests, they've given up on all their hobbies, or only having one or two interests. They have given up on almost everything but still need something to hide in.
They're always cracking jokes. Those people usually have a lot pent-up disappointment that they can't find happiness, so they try to spread happiness to anyone else. And #X200B, /edit/ thank you very much for my first silver, and to the people who relate to this comment, I hope you feel better soon, and there is no shame in discussing your problems with someone you trust or with a certified professional. But when you do get things sorted out, by all means keep telling jokes. You guys are the unsung heroes of the world. You'd be surprised by how much a good joke and genuine laugh can change someone's day for the better, and frankly it's truly remarkable that despite how your personal life is, you still make it a mission to make other people's lives better, because in this day and age, chances are they're dealing with something similar to you. Something to think about next time you make someone laugh and they say thanks, I needed that one. And #X200B, Doctor thanks for the silver, and keep being awesome and funny, you awesome people.
I do all of these things. Fuck.
When they try their best to make everyone else happy. It's sort of a catharsis to them because they get momentary joy by making someone laugh or smile or have a nice day, but they don't ever do anything to make themselves happy. Geez Louise, I didn't expect this to blow up.
They're tired all the time, say they're fine or okay with no elaboration when you ask, sigh a lot, space out a lot, seem distracted, don't seem to enjoy anything. Edit. I woke up to roughly 100 replies in my inbox, so I can't respond to everyone individually. A few things to say though. I'm not saying everyone who does this has clinical depression. If you feel that you might have a problem, talk to a professional. I wrote this list based off of how I act at work. I have severe depression, ADHD, and complex PTSD. I know that all of this can spring from any of those, something else, or it can be nothing except normal boredom or detachment. I hope you all feel better. Sucks that so many people are so down on themselves.
Shock and odd reactions when someone throws a compliment their way.
Dead eyes. When I ran into a friend after leaving my gaslighting ex, I told her that we had broken up and why. Her response was, "I knew you were being abused. Your eyes were dead but now they are full of life."
I just want to say this entire thread feels like a personal attack and summary of the last 2 years of my life, and I have to say, I did not think I was that unhappy in life.
Constantly feeling tired. Not talking a lot. Looks like they are trying to concentrate on themselves or on something and everything else seems to be annoying. Short fuse towards loved ones. No attention to themselves, how they'll look, how they're dressed, what they're eating. Eyes. Like they are shut down. Edit. Guys, I am truly shocked seeing all these upvotes and replies. The last thing I thought about is that my comment that seems to be very obvious and ordinary reply to the question topic gets so many relatable responses and even awards. Honestly, I am deeply shocked to see so many replies. You described me. Guys, let's hope for better. Life is a long way, let's hope things are going to get better for all and each of us. Thank you so much for all these awards. Definitely not expected this quick temper. Focusing on the negative. Sees an opportunity to talk and runs with it for over 45 minutes. Always and never very common words. I get tired of hearing the media run adverts about helping people with depression. Say tell someone, reach out. I told my job counselor I was planning my suicide and the date. She just looked at me, carried on typing and talked about a job interview. It was like I hadn't spoken. I wonder how many other people don't reach out because there's no point. Edit. No, I'm still planning. Not to be morbid, but I don't want to traumatize another person finding my body. Coming up with a way so it's obvious I'm dead but there's no body, also doesn't saddle my family with a funeral they can't afford. It's a lot harder thinking of it in practical terms. Trying to figure out a foolproof plan is the only thing keeping me alive at the moment. Sorry. Gallows humor. Edit. I only came on Reddit yesterday so I'm still figuring out how it works. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has reached out. You guys made me cry. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. They seem too happy, no matter what is actually going on with them. Sounds stupid but I get it a lot. Whenever someone is super bubbly and over the top happy, I think damn they must be super depressed when they get home. I feel like this might sound like a cliche but getting worse at a game they were really good at, which kinda depressed them more. I have this friend who loves Mario Kart. He is basically a god at it. We used to play a lot, and we still do. He knows every shortcut, how much he has to tilt the stick for every turn, etc. But one time I noticed I had been winning for quite a while. I thought he might be giving me the chance to win but he actually wasn't. It seemed that for every race we had he just put all of his effort in and got no result. Turns out he was having a very rough month, and it impacted the way he was playing. The only thing I could do was just try to cheer him up, and suggest other challenges that might distract him. BTW, he's now back in the business. I was missing my silver Mario Kart trophy. Edit. Typo.
Them joking about dark shit going on in their life. I know from myself. At times I weren't okay. If me and my friends were chatting for hours and the topic of the talk have come to our problems, I would tell the cause of depression, anxiety, unhappiness, stress etc. in just a sentence while smiling as if it was funny and in a joking way. They never got the message, so in case there are people out there like me, if someone is telling you something that sounds dark but they are laughing or talking really shortly about it, please stop them and ask them to talk more about the topic. Make them feel like they can open up to you. They start becoming more irritable, maybe they snap a little more often. When this happens, they'll usually apologize later and sound either truly regretful or tired. They zone out more, and they lose interest in things they used to love. They never want to do anything. If you ask them if they're okay and they say that they're fine, outwardly always smiling, always trying to cheer up others, moderating /r/Tetris 99, all the standard measures.
People are pretty good about picking up small, even minute signals on people's moods, even if they don't realize they are doing it. It's very obvious when someone is showing life complete apathy, or anger at the smallest slights, or talks about wanting to end capitalism. There are no secret signs that are 100% accurate. Some people agree to more, some shut themselves off from the rest of the world. Most people are somewhat unhappy to an extent anyway. There is always something that will upset each individual. The secret is knowing the person and seeing them do things outside of their normal activities.
They tend to stay in bad situations much longer than a well-adjusted person would, which leads other people to believe they're at least somewhat content. They might hate their job or their spouse or their weight or their life in general, but depression is mentally exhausting, and even thinking about taking steps toward getting out of that situation is daunting, especially when you can just stay on autopilot in your current circumstances. And when you can finally muster the mental motivation to act, then you realize how physically exhausted you are. And if it's that overwhelming to try to get rid of whatever makes you unhappy, sometimes you just stop trying to be happy at all. You stop trying to feel anything and let the apathy drive for a while.
Looking down a lot and spacing out a lot. And if you ask them if how they're feeling, there's a very high chance they will say I'm fine or I'm okay. They will be often tired and they might fiddle with something like a sleeve of a shirt. That's all I can come up with now. Hope I helped a bit.
Easily frustrated. Sign of anger or depression. Or both. To spend excessive amounts of time on social media.
It would depend on the person. In a relationship, the effort that is put into the relationship drops way off. Unhappy people tend to retreat in some way: drugs, alcohol, personally destructive behavior. They sleep more, and are quick to anger.
What's wrong? Nothing, I'm just tired.
They say I don't know, what do you want to do? When asked to make plans, they isolate themselves from loved ones with no explanation. I'm fine.
After a while you don't become married to depression, it's more like Stockholm Syndrome. I've got nothing going for me since Halloween, not even a dime or a place to stay, but I refuse to give up. Absolutely stubbornly refuse. Why? Because everyone loves a good slow-motion train wreck.
Ennui. A feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from lack of occupation or excitement. He succumbed to ennui and despair.
Hey. How are you? Living the dream.
Heavy use of humor.
Just seem gloomy all the time. Also, if they bring your energy down and you have to be happy to make them happy.
High-functioning alcoholic. Source: high-functioning alcoholic.
If you can't tell if they were happy, and you have to ask yourself or are wondering, then most likely they were unhappy. When you are happy, people don't wonder if you are happy, it just shows.
They always keep the conversation about you even when you ask them how they are doing.
Poor decisions. Sometimes they're spending all their emotional energy on the basics. When it's time to eat or make major purchases, they do them on impulse, so they get fat and in debt.
They sacrifice something just so they can make excuses later. Sacrificing sleep so they'll be too tired to do anything. Overeating so they don't have to date anyone. Procrastinating so they don't have time for anything else.
SPACINGOUT.
Sometimes you can see the sadness in their eyes and they're speaking.
When they laugh a little too hard at jokes,
They walk around with the slump-like posture.
They do everything they can to make everyone else happy.
I can't speak for anyone else, but I've been reaching out to anyone and everyone that I haven't talked to in forever. Oh, person I was friends with in middle school, how have you been? Old friend's sister's friend who you really only met like 3 times but they seemed like a nice person and for some reason you're friends with on Facebook, what have you been up to? Desperately trying to just make any sort of connection with someone is usually a pretty good sign. They don't participate in life like they used to do.
Self-degrading humor.
My personal tell is eye contact. When I'm in bad moods I tend to avoid looking people in the eyes more or not as long.
Short responses. That is always a telltale sign.
I used to fit almost all of these comments, but now I don't. I guess I'm getting better, emotionally withdrawing, spending time isolated or playing video games all the time to escape.
Usually they avoid talking about it.
Snapping at seemingly insignificant things, or acting out aggressively when they are usually calm.
Going to bed with their jeans, button-up shirt still on. They stop talking about their own life and only ask about other people's skeptical, till that Reddit stands for really everyone's deeply depressed in there. Mine will get buried. Always complaining about X. Work. It's normally the biggest thing. Bit could really be almost anything. When I say complaining I mean it dominates almost every conversation with the person.
Their username.
Sometimes it's the happiest people that are the saddest inside.
When in conversation they always flip the questions onto the other person, not sharing what's going on with them. For example, if asked how their week went they would say good and then bring up something about your week, keeping the conversation talking about you and not them.
They try to make people laugh, and are friendly, but most of the time they isolate themselves and don't keep in close touch with their friends and loved ones.
They're watching porn more often.
They start making their own bread from scratch. Messy room, car. You notice they don't shower or brush their teeth as often. Irritability is a symptom of stress. Bids of attention or the opposite, isolation.
As someone who frequently fakes it till they make it, here's some signs that I've seen in myself. Over-emotional. Laughs a little bit too much. Quiet or always on their phone when with friends. Asking lots about you, but not answering questions about themselves. Frequent naps even when they got a full night's sleep. Not doing well at work or in classes. Neglecting hobbies they'd usually be obsessed with. I personally have never been snappy or irritable when I'm in my moods, but I hear that's a big one too.
They constantly post pictures on FB talking about how awesome their life is.
Looks dead inside.
When their social media stories are overflowing with positivity and feel-good, inspirational memes.
My boyfriend loves music deeply. For 5 years I've supported him in his music as a vocalist, drummer and guitarist. His passion for metal music is genuine and he loves it so much I swear you could never take that away from him, especially Christian metal. It helps him feel closer to God. Over a year ago he started a job working in an office building where he sat at a desk and worked on the computer, which he told me since he was 18 he never wanted to give up his dream for music to work behind a desk. Now we're living together and he gets up at 5 a.m. every morning and gets home at 5 p.m. I swear I see the light in his eyes die a little more each day. And it breaks my heart. He's not happy. He's miserable and he's depressed. I love him dearly. He's my best friend. That's the unhappy I see every day that kills me inside.
In my experience, it's the people who are constantly joking and never take anything seriously. Like they're keeping all other emotions at bay. That, or people that constantly put others down, but frame it sort of like a sarcastic joke even though it's just plain mean.
Avoidance, deflection, loss of interest, change in sleep patterns. Self-deprecation. There are many signs. I have been secretly unhappy for a long time. If you suspect that someone you love is going through the same thing, just be there as best you can.
They're the first to fight and they're way too loud. The flash of light on a burial shroud. You know there's something wrong.
Failing to do stuff they used to love doing.
Tardiness, especially if they were punctual before. Really, any kind of noticeable slippage from good habits can mean a person no longer feels a sense of reward in doing things well. That's a sign of anhedonia, a common symptom of depression.
If they always say they're fine or okay with no further elaboration, that's the one sign.
Unfocused anger.
Not cleaning and putting off laundry for unreasonable amount of time. I get depressed around the holidays every year, and this is a pattern I started to notice this time around.
For me, sleeping in, not wanting to eat, talking way more monotone than my usual highly expressive voice.
ITT, uncomfortably accurate descriptions of the average Redditor, myself included. Maybe this is just me, but if someone seems to be happy about everything, like, every little thing can get them excited, but they don't have any hobbies, or any excitement for anything else. The ones that always seem to be the most happiest could have some things going on, and they're just good at hiding it.
They complain all the time and they talk shit about other people.
They're always tired and or have no motivation to do anything. For me personally, it includes any sports, playing games, reading, and even sometimes just watching a TV show I haven't been able to watch yet. Anytime you ask them how they are, without a doubt they'll say alright / okay / fine / etc. Gets exhausted doing the simplest things, like going out with friends for example. I personally can't even handle texting them sometimes for a few hours a day or so, and so on.
Mass amounts of comedy around close, loved ones in order to keep them happy. Some unhappy people feel like making others happy is the closest thing, or they don't want the people they care about to feel unhappy like themselves.
Exhaustion. There is no energy. No color in their world. It is depression.
Thank you for watching. We publish amazing Reddit stories every day. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to keep the dog smiling.